All right, everybody, I'm back, getting ready to do the cylinder and the piston. I've got it all unboxed right there. Let me get this gasket trimmed if I can. Sorry, I think I'm coming down with a little bit of a cold. The way I like to do these, try to get as flat on there as you can. There's a impulse line in my way right there. There's a crank in my way right there. Go right about there, see if I can do that. All right, we're gonna do this a little bit different. Take the blade out, make sure it stays clean. The way I like to do these, go flat on the crankcase and just trim that little bit of gasket. If you can see what's going on there. There, nice and smooth. All right, put this all back and then we'll get on to the next part. Needle cage. I don't like to use the ones that come with the Farmer Techs. Again, I try to use better quality bearings if I can get a hold of them. And this is just 2-stroke oil right here. That's all it is. Just put a little bit in the bottom right there. And then we'll move on to the piston. We got a brand new, yep, this was a 52mm 064 piston cylinder. And this is all highway right here. So I've not, the only thing, like I said in the last video, the screws and the crankcase are the only Farmer Tech part at this particular moment. So you got highway crank, highway piston, cylinder, Proline bearings, seals. I try to do little things like that to just try to make this last a little bit longer. The Farmer Techs can be okay for a while, but I really don't want to risk seeing how long they'll last. If I keep sniffing it, like I said, it's because I think I've got a little bit of a cold. I just took some Dayquil before I came out here. All right, got that little bugger in there. And now, just a little bit more 2-stroke oil on this. Got it to go in. There we are. Of course, you can hear my dogs in the background occasionally barking. And the neighbors let their dogs out. I may have to go take care of that in a second. All right, I'm back. Got the dogs to quit barking. Now what we're gonna do real quick. So we got a set of rings right here. I don't think these are caber. Sometimes we'll get lucky and they'll send caber rings with these. I think those are just highway right there. All right, your pins for the rings are always going to be on the intake side. Just hook it with a couple thumbnails and just work it down. Try not to overstretch them. And there it went. Perfect. All right, now we're ready for the cylinder. A brand new highway cylinder. I think I'm going to leave the gasket out of this one. I've had really good luck on that. There's where that retainer clip went. Decided to go right in the middle of the saw. So I'm going to go across the front. I have to clean that little glob up I left there. And now I'm going to go down the back side. Get that string off of there. I see what happened. Looks like I split my tip whenever I was cleaning it out. I didn't really mean to. That's unfortunate. But you don't need very much Durco or anything. All right, I'm going to take a paper towel and I'm going to clean that up a little bit. Because of course we don't want any Durco inside the engine wouldn't be bad. It's just not recommended. All right, what I'm going to do, around the intake side, a little bit around the exhaust side. Just kind of run your finger back and forth, smooth that oil around a little bit. We're going to take a little bit right on top of the rings. All right, one of my rings isn't lining up on the pin. I've got it turned again, so the ring ends are kept where they need to be. All right, I found my ring compressor. I normally just use one ring compressor. I don't use a lot of the tools that are like recommended to hold the crankshaft and hold the piston up. I put a little bit of oil in the ring compressor. One side's wider than the other, so it gives it a little bit of a taper. We're going to go right about here. And I try to pull the ring compressor down to where it's just past the, it's like right on top of the top ring, but the crown of the piston's still going up. So I'll take the piston and the cylinder and I push down. And we'll rotate this to the bottom of the stroke. There we go. And I've already cut the bag open for the cylinder screws. There it went. And there's my T-handle. I've just started those. I haven't really run them in yet. All right, now I'm running them in. We'll get this tightened down. Then I'll show you how to do some AV mounts. I've been thinking about this. I think I'm going to use this video or the next to show how to do a pressure vacuum test on a saw. That's kind of a crucial thing to know if you're going to wrench on saws very much. I know a lot of guys don't really do that, but if you've got access to the tools, it'll save you an insane amount of time to just set up and do a pressure vac test. And all right, when I come back, I'm going to set up to do some AV mounts, and then we'll start getting the handle pulled on. I'll show you how to do that next. All right, I'm gonna have to laugh at myself for a couple minutes. I spent the past few minutes looking for a non-existent plug for the decompression valve, only to realize that the 064 did not come with a decompression valve, so I don't have to plug it. All right, so what we've got going on here, For the first thing, even on the Farmer Text, there's an arrow molded into the bottom of the intake boot. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to point that arrow straight down, like straight at the casting on the cylinder. Now we're starting to get into some of the Farmer Tech stuff. I'm going to use the Farmer Tech intake boot and impulse line. The impulse line needs to go on the handle, so we're not going to do that just yet. All right. These are not really bad. They're not really bad AV mounts. So what I'm going to do here, take my grease rag I've been using for a little bit. You take and put just a little spritz of WD-40 on there. Not a whole lot. You don't need a bunch. Rub it around real quick, and you'll take and you'll shove that thing in there. And it will still fight you. There it went. There's one. You just got to put a little bit of force on it. You don't want to break it. You don't want to tear it up. Just keep escalating the force until you kind of get the result you're desiring. I added just a little bit more WD on that last one, so it went in just a little bit smoother. And there we go. All right, those are the AV mounts installed. Now I'm going to spend a few minutes looking through my parts, trying to decide which bags of hardware I'm going to need. What we need is this little bugger right here. May not be perfectly round because, I mean, it did come from China. Now this, believe it or not, is a number 1 Phillips. So your number 2 Phillips won't actually do it. All right, that'd be tight enough right there. And next in line, we've got the handle.